It nearly didn't happen. Dat was de zin waarmee de biografie van de nieuwe Editors-plaat begon. En meestal staat het er niet zo expliciet in, dus er was kennelijk echt wat aan de hand. Dat klopt ook wel. De Editors hebben een belangrijk bandlid verloren, maar ze hebben ook een nieuwe plaat. Hij is er toch gekomen. The Weight of Your Love. En ze zijn gewoon weer hier. Ze gaan straks weer alle grote festivals doen. En ze zijn nu ook bij mij aangeschoven. Tom Smith, Russell Leach, welcome.
Hello.
Thing is, you survived. That's the most important thing, right?
We are still on the planet. Yeah.
Yeah, because it nearly didn't happen. I don't know if you approved that sentence to be the first of your biography.
We did approve it, actually. Yeah, we did see the biog. So it's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a moment when, there was a long period of time when things were going bad with Chris, and I don't know. Yeah, when that culminated in Chris leaving, there's a moment there where it's just us three, and we all intend to continue the band, and that was the plan. But you don't know if it's going to work out. Like, it's quite conceivable at that when you've gone through something so damaging that you can't repair it, and it depended on the two people that we brought in to the equation to make it right, and thankfully it all worked. But yeah, there was definitely pretty close to the edge.
You were part of an intense generation of British music. There were a lot of bands coming up in 2005, 2006. Mm. They all sort of came and went, and you guys thought, well, we're going strong, and suddenly you thought, this is going wrong after all, right, Russell?
Yeah, I mean, you can't plan it.
No.
And we kind of grew up together from our, late teens, and through our 20s we were in this band that became a success. And, with that I moved to New York, so did Chris, and, we all start doing a few different things, and, things change. And it's just like, you have to have something within to want to be doing this. And I guess like that got lost along the way, and we stopped functioning as a band as well.
So what happened?
It's a long thing, it's not just overnight. And there was like cracks, there's always been cracks there, and they just got exaggerated over time. And especially after we finished touring the last record, that process of getting back into a room was a strange thing, and communication broke down, and we couldn't really talk to each other.
What happened in that room? Because you actually started the record with the four of you.
Well, we did lots of, we generally rehearse in like kind of sections of time. So we do like 2 weeks intense, then we'd take a few weeks off and do another couple of weeks. And it would go like that, and then we would. Then we did a few recording sessions. So we did a big long chunk with Flood, with some of the songs, and then took a bit of time off, did some more rehearsals, did more recordings with Flood. And it's when things started post In This Light, the rehearsals were going okay. We were picking up guitars. We were all I think we'd all thought we wanted to make a slightly more rock record than our last one. The last one was very electronic, and we wanted to pick up the guitars again, and that was kind of the only real, I guess, idea we had.
And Chris didn't want that?
No, Chris did. No, Chris was playing guitar, and that was all fine. But I don't know, slowly but surely, the rehearsals and working through the new songs, I don't know, they just weren't quite good enough. And it's hard to put, you don't realise straight away. You kind of like, you do a section of rehearsals and you go home, you think about what you've achieved, and maybe you do some recordings, and you live them for a couple of weeks, and you listen to them, and it's like, we couldn't put our finger on what was right or drastically wrong about them, but they weren't quite good enough. And so then we'd do more rehearsals like a month later, and then again things weren't going quite so well. And so every time you go back together and you get in a room as four people, the energy is gone, and dialogue started to break down, and people couldn't really work out what collectively we were trying to do. And it just got worse and worse, really, like that.
Can you say that the third record, which was a very bold one, you said it was very electronic, whereas the first one were very guitar-based, was mentally a very heavy record for you guys to comprehend?
I get in a little way to understand why. I mean, I don't seek out to really understand why we do things. You kind of just trust your gut and go with it. But it was definitely a striking decision for us all collectively to make that.
You usually react to the record that we've just made, and then kind of try and do something the opposite to it. Yeah. And Chris was a big thing in this electronic direction, right? At that moment.
I mean, he was a guitarist, and remember what he did on the guitar for the first two records was a massive part of what Editors was. and his guitar melodies alongside when I was singing, that was Editors. He had a signature sound, and so it was. But then coming for the third record, we all kind of got. He especially got really bored of what he was doing with the guitar. He really kind of like led the route down towards the kind of synthetic electronic record, and we all wanted to do that, but so that was kind of he was definitely in that.
It's interesting. You have to do something at that point. There's some kind of psychological effect in a band. What you try to keep it tight. That's what you do as a band, especially you. You try to make it very perfect. I talked to Josh Homme of Queens of the Stone Age, who has a big history, of course, of seeing people come and go, and he said, I stopped being angry at people going out of my life. Maybe they're coming back, maybe they don't. You seem like very sensitive people who are very much it's very important, that dynamic. You have to keep it very compact, right?
I guess so. I think we all I don't know, we just realise you have to like communicate, and as you grow older, things change, and you just got to be you've got to have those talks sometimes. So
talks.
Well, just be able to communicate, and that was something that we didn't have when everything was going wrong, and kind of when it ends up with just like me and Ed in a room just rehearsing, the two of us with a laptop, it's that there's problems.
And in the end, it was fine because the record's here.
Yeah.
You took a totally different direction. You moved to the US to record it.
We did,
that was important.
Yeah, I mean the songs. And we, like I said before, we were already trying to make a more of a rock record when Chris was in the band. But I think with him going, it kind of, really focused in on, a very traditional rock record, And the song, the two new guys that came in initially to help us with the show that we had booked, it clicked. There was suddenly a different energy, obviously a different energy to that negative time we were going through. And we started throwing new songs around, and they felt kind of muscular. Like I say, more of a rock orientated kind of sound coming along, and we have a deep love of American bands, a deep love of everything from R.E.M. or Bruce Springsteen through to the new Nashville record is or whatever. So we'd always kind of thought maybe we could record these songs in America, and we've sent some demos to Jakir King, and he was like, come to Nashville, and we were like, cool. And I mean, after the new guys joined, it actually happened very quickly, the making of this record.
There's some breakup songs on this record as well.
Yeah.
Are they about your band split up, or Chris leaving, or are they about love, like they seem to be?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the song. I think all of the songs that are breakup songs were written when Chris was still in the band. So with hindsight, there's an added relevance to our situation. We also went through breakups with labels, with members. There's a.
Is it the same?
Sorry?
Is it the same kind of process?
What, making the songs? Or?
No, the breaking up with a band member that's so important to your band as a relationship.
There's a lot of similarities. Yeah, there's a lot. There's like it was. Yeah, it's really it's hard. It's raw. He's a mate, and us three could no longer go on with him. The band couldn't function with him in it. So, I mean. It's a lot like breaking up with someone, I would say, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But
you're back on track. That's the
we
basic
are
thing.
now, yeah. But it's still raw, it's not that long ago. So,
So when you stepped up onto that stage at the Rock Reactor, which was a big one, what exactly went through your head? Were you like mixed feelings, or just going forward?
Absolutely, because. We'd got Justin and Elliot in to play with us, especially for the show. We came out, we were playing new songs, and it was quite soon after Chris had left. So, it was a big test, and it is a big test. It's a massive show.
Biggest show we'd ever done, yeah. New band, new songs that we'd not even recorded up until that point. So there's a lot of risk. I didn't want to do the show after Chris left. My opinion was we don't need this now. Let's try and recover and work out how we're going to make Editors work without the pressure of this big show. But Russell and Ed did want to do it, and I'm glad we did, because if it wasn't for the show, we wouldn't have got Justin Elliott, and we wouldn't be sat here with you now.
Yeah. You have two shows in Amsterdam. You have one at the Lowlands Festival as well.
Yeah.
Do you consider a home in Amsterdam, maybe?
We have a long. Amsterdam was the first place we came to away from England to play. and that show was a special show as well at London Calling. It was it still lingers in the memory, and I don't know,
a hot steaming show.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And then I think, was it that summer or the following summer that we did Lowlands and our gear didn't turn up, and there was
absolutely true.
Yeah, and I remember just obviously that was traumatic, and especially then, like pretty young and wet behind the ear. That was like, oh my god, how are we going to do the show? Like really worried about it. Other people's gear. This is like a complete, nightmare. And then walking on stage and the tent being, heaving. And I think that was the first time we'd ever seen a crowd like that at a festival for us. So that was special. And then, the relationship has continued. We've had lots of good shows here, not only in Amsterdam but across regionally as well. And I remember Lowlands, particularly when we headlined that on the end of our second record, was very special indeed. So I'm looking forward to going back. Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks.
Editors, ze zijn eerst in de Gashouder in Amsterdam, dan op Lowlands dus, en dan in het najaar ook nog in de Ziggo Dome. En dan is er ook nog een nieuwe plaat, The Weight of Your Love.